hi, hello, welcome back to my channel. My name is Jess, and I'm going to be talking about all the books that I have DNF'd or did not finish so far this year. So I'm filming this, it's like July 18th maybe, and I am currently, for my July TBR, I did put books on there that I think I'm more likely to DNF, but I just need to go ahead and film this, so whatever else I DNF after today will just be on my video I do towards the end of the year for books I DNF in the second half. But DNF, aka do not finish, is something that I like to do, even though looking at how many books I've DNF'd so far, I thought I had DNF'd more. But when I made this TBR for July, I've definitely been like, yeah, just let it go, just let it go. Because some of these books, they're not all bad, but I'm like, well, I just think it's gonna be a 3-star, so like, why keep reading it? And everyone has different opinions on DNFing. If they do, some people give themselves a certain like limit, like I have to read 30%, I have to read 50% of the book, such and such. I can DNF after 1 page, I can DNF 75% in the book. It just really depends on the book and how I'm feeling. So let's talk about the ones that I have DNF'd thus far this year. And honestly, I don't know if this makes me sound bad. I need to step it up. I want to have more than this in the second half. So I'm going to start back towards the beginning of the year. And some of these, for me, I have soft DNF and I have hard DNF. And soft is like, maybe it's just not me, just not for me right now. And then hard DNF is like, hate it, no, never gonna read it again. And so the first couple, the first one is definitely a soft DNF, and that is A Song for the Wild Built by Becky Chambers. Bethany, if you're watching, breathe, breathe. It's a soft DNF. I just don't think this was the time when I tried this one. And that's what I wrote. I wrote, maybe it's not the right time. And so I definitely want to give that one another try, because the other books I have read by Becky Chambers, I have really enjoyed. So I don't want to give up on that one forever. So I'm going to come back to that. But then I read one of my anticipated releases for the year. It was a romance called Digging Up Love by Chandra Bloomberg. And I think one of the people was like an archaeologist and the other one was a baker, and it just sounded so interesting, but I wasn't getting any sparks. I wasn't feeling any chemistry between the characters. I wrote that I DNF'd it at 30%. I just wasn't feeling anything for these characters. It felt, I don't know, there was no emotion for me. The premise of the story is like, there's something found in like her grandparents' backyard, and then he's like the archaeologist that comes, and you know, it's kind of not getting along, but nothing was jumping out to me. And so I was like, if I continue, I don't think this is gonna be anything more than a 2.5 or 3-star. So I DNF'd it. It made me so sad. I wanted to love that one so much. And then it looks like this is going by Goodreads. So I have a Goodreads list, and then I have some other ones that I didn't make it to Goodreads, whatever. So I have People We Meet on Vacation, which if you watched, I forgot what video it is, but I told y'all about a line of people we meet in vacation. This is like the total reason I DNF'd it, but I was just like, Emily, you are out of line. Basically, I didn't like either main character. I thought they were boring, annoying, and I was like, bleh. I'm underwhelmed. And that line also did not help about her butt being stopped up like a cork bottle from all the cheese that she ate. Emily, straight to jail. Emily's got one more chance with me. I still have not read Book Lovers. That is her last chance with me. And then another anticipated release, and this is a nonfiction, which I don't feel like I DNF that many nonfiction. Like I usually choose ones that I am pretty interested in, but this one was called Open, an uncensored memoir of love, liberation, and non-monogamy by Rachel Krantz. And I should have known when it said memoir, but I still was going into reading it, and it was a memoir of like her life and her experiences in open relationships and such. And I said DNF at 18%. I really got to learn to read the synopsis, because I was like, but I don't want, and also just her personal story, I just wasn't connecting with. And you know, that just depends. Sometimes you really can with a memoir, and sometimes you really can't. And I just was like, If this was more a general book about open relationships, polyamory, stuff like that, I think I would have enjoyed it more. But her story specifically, it wasn't doing it for me. I'm sorry. So I DNF'd Lessons in Sin, which is a romance neurotica. I'm not sure because I didn't get far into the book. I DNF'd to 10%. This was like an 18-year-old girl who was at a Catholic school. Like she was doing bad in her regular school, so she got sent to like this boarding school for all girls, and then she has the hots for like the priest who's like 40, and I just was like, no. It's not like, yeah, I don't know, 40 and 18. I was like, I know it's fiction, but I don't like it. And that's what I wrote. I said, this is an 18-year-old girl being sent to an all-girls school, all-girls Catholic school because she got caught giving a dude a blowjob. And then the first thing is like, this hot priest and he's 40. And I was like, I'm gonna pass. I'm gonna pass on that. Continuing. Liberty by Caitlin Greenridge. I DNF'd to 15%. I think that well, obviously it's a young adult book, so obviously I'm not the audience, but that doesn't mean that you can't enjoy a book that, you know, wasn't, you know, specifically written for you. But I just was like, no, because the main character was already working my nerves. And so at what, 15%, I was like, you know what, this is not gonna be for me. You better let me donate it and somebody else can enjoy this. Where was I? Oh, DNFing Liberty. And this is another one of the book of the month books. So People We Meet on Vacation, Liberty, this next one. I think out of the 5 book of the month books that I had, I fully read 2 of them. Anyway, I DNF'd What Comes After by Joanne Tompkins at 16%. It just was convoluted, and I just was like trying to pay attention to the threads, and I was like, why? I don't care. I feel like if I could have like gone back, paid attention, it could have been good. I don't think, like, nothing grabbed me in the first 16% that I thought it was gonna be amazing or like really needed to know what happened. And yeah, it's hard to wow me with like a mystery anyway. So I was like, let me save myself some time, and goodbye. So I DNF'd it. Next, I DNF'd We Are the Brennans by Tracy Lang, and I have had this one for a while. I had heard it was like messy white people drama, and so I was like, we live. And it was very messy, with the main character is like, her family thinks she's living this glamorous life out in LA, but she's really kind of slumming it, gets into an accident, gets a DUI, goes back to New York. Is that where she at? Or Boston, and is finding, you know, there's more family drama than she knew because she's, you know, been on the West Coast. And again, it was fine. I just wasn't like, ooh, I'm dying to know what happened here and why this, why you left. I just was like, and I think I need to do this more often because I'm finding that I've had a lot of like 3.5 star reads, which are fine. I just feel like I know every book can't be a favorite, but I want more memorable books. And a lot of these that I DNF'd, I feel like I would be like, okay, that was a good book, it was fine, and then I would forget it the next week. So I don't know. I'm just wanting more memorable reads, you know what I'm saying? So I was like, let it go. And I got 39% into We Are the Brennans. I was like, no. Also DNF'd another anticipated release. Wow, I am not a good judge of character. Oh, a book? Do books have? Whatever. One Night on the Island, I think, by Josie Silver. I read another book by Josie Silver and I really liked that. But this one is a romance, and essentially they're on like this small island off of Ireland, and they both, the hero and the heroine, both think they've booked it. And they've booked it at the same time, like it's overlapped, and there's like literally nowhere else to stay on this island, so they're gonna have to stay in this tiny little cabin together. And I just, again, felt no chemistry. That's like a main thing in a romance. There's some other things that I don't like, but if I initially am just not clicking with the characters, I'm not feeling it, like they're supposed to not get along, you know, there's supposed to be that like tension, I'm not feeling it, there's no point in me continuing. And so the beat was, you know, I can't say a flat line because that would have meant it had to start from something. It was just nothing from page 1. I was just like, I tried to read it over like several days. I would like read a chapter, read another one, and then I was like, why? Why am I continuing to try to read this? They're not giving me anything. So I really liked the premise, but it did not deliver for me. So I had to let it go at 18%. Then also recently I DNF'd Beast of Prey by Ayana Gray. Again, nothing personally against the book. It's a young adult book. I just felt like it was going to be a 3 or 3.5 star read. I don't know that I would have cared about continuing with the next one. It is genuinely, and I think it's easier to DNF because I didn't buy it. I saw it for free at the library, and I really need to come to terms with, just because it's free doesn't mean I need to take it. Because some of these books, I know, Jessica, you probably will not love this book. Why are you taking it? So anyway, I'm going to donate it back so some other person who probably will enjoy it more than I will can read it. But yeah, I don't know. I just was like, this is fine. And then something was going on and I was like, if such and such happens, I am done, because I know, like, I don't know, I don't want to say predictable. It is for a young adult audience, but I was like, and then it happened and I was like, no, I don't want to do it. I don't want to do it. So I just, yeah, there's no point, right? I just let it go. Let it go. But also, I DNF'd. Something to Talk About by Meryl Wilshire, I think. This was a romance, was recommended to me, and it was a sapphic romance, but again, I was not feeling any feelings for these characters. It just felt very dry, the entire story. I was just like, okay. And I don't know how far I made that one. I know that I DNF'd it, but for some reason it's not on Goodreads, but I was doing like a reading vlog of romances recommended to me by my patrons, and unfortunately that one was not for me. But oh well. Another that I DNF'd, which was probably the shortest amount read in all of the books I've DNF'd so far, was Wishes Steeped in Gold by Shannon Smart. It hurts because the book is so beautiful and I want to celebrate Black authors. But I was like 5% in and I was like, what? Huh? Like, I was so confused, and I would reread it and it was just so dense. And then I was asking people on Twitter, and like, I don't know, let's say I got 25 responses. I think 23 of them DNF'd it or finished it and they did not like it. And I was like, dare I continue? And I said, self, let's not continue. And so self said, DNF. Yeah. And then the next book is even longer, because it was like 500 something pages, which I was like, this is the young adult fantasy first book. And then the next one's like 600 or 700 pages. No, it's not gonna be me. You know what I'm saying? It couldn't be me. So that was that. And I think that might be all. Let me check. Hold on. These were a couple soft DNFs where I was just reading entirely too many things at once. So I had started these and they either had to go back to the library or just put them down. So I do plan on picking these back up, hopefully this fall, if not next year. But they're just ones that I don't even think made it to my currently reading on Goodreads. Damn, that's it? That's really all that I have, or at least that I've remembered that I've DNF'd, besides, you know, like maybe picking up something or reading a first page. And that is not a lot, and I want to change that. In the second half, I want to let go of more books that I don't feel are going to give me, and now sometimes that can turn around, right? But sometimes I just know, like, yeah, this is fine. And I just want to let go of more of those books that are just fine. Do you know what I'm saying? Because this wasn't as many. And so I'm not saying I want to DNF, like my goal when I start a book is to DNF, but I need to realize in more stories that it's not for me, and I need to stop getting books that I know most likely I'm not going to enjoy. Those I really need to reserve like a library hold, and then just to let it go. And FOMO is real because I love being on the hype train. I love loving books with other people, but you can't force yourself to love something you don't love. So that's all that I've DNF'd thus far this year. Have you? Do you DNF? If you do, how many have you DNF'd? Do you have a system, like a certain mark you have to meet? And yeah, I, kind of update things, but I really do want my second half of my reading year to be better. So fingers crossed for that. But thank you so much for watching. Give this a thumbs up. Think about subscribing. Check out my description. I always have ways to find me on the internet, ways to support my channel if you want to join my Patreon. And I think that's gonna be it. So stay blessed, hydrated, moisturized, and sunscreened, and I will see you in my next one.